So you think you know lost media, heard the tales they always tell, but there's more beneath the static, stranger stories time won't sell. Mr. Sean is here, uncovering lore from cellar shelves to old trapdoors. It's lesser known lost media friend, where the weirdest tales begin and end.
Welcome back to the channel, Simian Squad, and welcome to episode 99 of Lesser Known Lost Media. Wow, we are a stone's throw away from our centennial episode, and we are going to talk more about that later. But if you are new to the channel, what we do here is we cover lost media cases that you just don't hear about on YouTube as much as, say, some of the more popular ones like A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants, Saki Sanabashi, or Slamfest 99. Here on Lesser Known Lost Media, we like to give every piece of lost media its chance to shine because they're all lost and they all want to be discovered. And if we bring awareness, we might be able to do that. Now, again, if you're new here, here's how it works. We start with 4 mundane, family-friendly, safe-for-work pieces of lost media, take a brief break, and then we end with a 5th spicy piece. And you're definitely going to want to stay around for the break today, guys, because we are announcing a giveaway where the winner will be announced on our 100th episode next week. So this video is how you will enter to win that giveaway. So you're going to want to stay tuned, guys. But without further ado, let's get going. Oh, and just a heads up, guys, today all of our pieces are anime or video game related, and their existence is unconfirmed. At number 1 today, we have Bane, lost build of a cancelled Sega 32X game, existence unconfirmed, possibly from the 1990s. Bane was a game rumored to be developed for Sega's failed 32X add-on system for their aging Genesis Mega Drive console. According to Sega 16's interview with the late Michael Latham, the game would have taken place in the future with a technology called BANE, standing for Biologically Adaptive Nanotechnology Engineering, that Earth would use against an alien invasion. The game was never mentioned in any magazine articles, TV shows, commercials, or anything, and is unclear if the game had any materials produced outside of the initial concept. The game was theorized to be released on the 32X due to other games that Michael Latham was also producing at the time. As with his other 32X projects, the game was shelved due to the abysmal failure that was the system. Now, what do we know about the game? Well, in the interview, Latham stated that there is a lot of mention of ground vehicles that would use the Bane technology that could adapt to any terrain, likely meaning the game would have been vehicle combat based. What kind of perspective, art style, or gameplay style, though, is unknown. Now, so what else do we have on it? Well, aside from Latham's interview, there is virtually nothing else known about the game. We don't even know if it had any development whatsoever. Guys, while I've stated before that my favorite type of lost media is the ones that we know exist and, we actually have a chance of finding, these ones are very interesting too, just because of the fact that there is so little known about it. It's like an internet mystery where maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I mean, I assume it was at least somewhat true, like the idea for this existed because the game creator stated so in an official interview, but beyond that, we just don't know, and that sometimes is just really tantalizing as far as searching for lost media goes. And at number 2, we have Canon, lost unreleased English dub of a 2002 anime series, existence unconfirmed, likely from 2005. So Canon is a Japanese animated adaptation of Key's 1999 visual novel of the same name. Produced by Toei Animation, the series ran for 13 episodes on Fuji TV between January and March of 2002. A direct-to-video follow-up episode was released the following March. The visual novel was later given a second standalone adaptation by Kyoto Animation that aired between October 2006 and March of 2007. This version saw an English language release by ADV Films in 2008. But in November of 2004, Toei Animation USA announced a partnership with Genon Entertainment to release Airmaster, Interlude, and Slam Dunk on DVD. Every production featured an English dub produced by Kaleidoscope Entertainment in Toronto, Canada. Casting director Joanne Borham worked on those shows, Her website includes imagery from Key's canon adaptation, though given her work on other shows from the company, she likely has it confused for Toei's. When asked, she did not recall much beyond it being a shorter production. The series was never announced for an English language release. Toei and Genon dissolved their relationship in September of 2006, and in a 2009 interview with Anime News Network, former Genon employee Chad Kime criticized the partnership, from the expensive Genon took on to the authoring quality of Toei's DVDs, and admitted it lost them money. It is unlikely the dub will ever be officially released. Toei's adaptation of canon hasn't officially been available in Japan since Kyoto Animation's adaptation debuted. You know, guys, in the anime world, there's the subbies versus the dubbies, and as much as it might make me a filthy peasant, I myself am a dubby. And, you know, I wish that every anime would get an English dub, even the ones I don't plan to watch, just so it could be accessible to an English audience if we so wanted to take advantage of that. Also, you know, making an English dub just means more work for voice actors, so everybody wins, except maybe the company if it's not popular. I don't know. I'm not I'm a businessman. I'm not an economist, but the thing is that I, as someone who likes dubs, there are a lot of anime out there that I find their ideas very interesting. I'd love to watch them, but I also, as someone who has to multitask and has heavy ADHD, I can't just sit and watch a TV show. And if I'm watching subtitles, then that is a struggle for me to get through. There's been times where I've done it. You know, my sister and I watched the Dynasty Warriors movie, and that's of course all in subtitles. And it wasn't easy, but I got through it. But watching an entire TV series in subs is hard for me, so I'm sure there are people out there like me, and if they liked this series, they'd probably love to see the dub of it, but whether or not it even existed, we just don't know. At number 3, we have Doom Episode 5, a lost cancelled expansion to the first-person shooter, existence also unconfirmed, probably from 1995. So, in 2015, id Software co-founder John Romero released a dump of source files from Doom and Doom 2 to the Doomworld.com forums. One noteworthy file included in this development dump was a map file called e5m1.dwd, dated March 29, 1995, about a month before the release of The Ultimate Doom. In its final Ultimate version, Doom had a total of 4 episodes with 8 levels and a bonus level each. The existence of e5m1.dwd file may imply a 5th episode to the game was in production, but ultimately scrapped. Little is known about the possible episode and what its content would have been, beyond the leaked map file. Now, in December of 2017, Romero began development on an unofficial 5th episode to Doom entitled Sigil, which was later released on May 22nd of 2019. Any resemblance this episode has to the episode 5 that may have been in development in the 90s is unknown. Guys, Doom was one of the first-person shooters I ever played. I actually ended up playing it on my Game Boy Advanced, actually, because I got Doom for that, and that was right around the time that my parents were finally letting me start actually play first-person shooters. They weren't big on it. Eventually they decided that violence and swearing were a-okay. It was just, you know, if there were boobies in the game, that was another story. Though there weren't a ton of boobies in games in the early 2000s, late 90s. So, you know, they were pretty safe on that one. But Doom has been entertaining people even in its original version up to this day. So if there was even more content for it that was planned, I'm sure people would love to find it. Though I will say, in my personal opinion, if John Romero did this massive data dump and that's the only thing that even hinted to it, my guess is it probably does not exist, but that's just me. Alright guys, at number 4 we have Phantasy Star 2, lost unreleased build of Sega Master System version of Sega Genesis game. Existence, of course, unconfirmed, probably from 1989. So, Phantasy Star 2 is a role-playing game developed for the Sega Mega Drive Genesis, originally in Japan in 1989 and later in 1990 overseas. It's a sequel to the first Phantasy Star game that debuted on the Sega Master System. The game featured many improvements to gameplay as well as new features. In 1993, an interview with one of the game's developers, Kotaro Hayashida, said that the game was allegedly developed originally for the Master System, but was moved to the Genesis, likely wanting it to be a launch title. It is unclear how much of the game had been developed before the move, but it is known that the final version only took about 2.5 months to fully develop. So, what else do we know? Well, as previously stated, it is unclear how much of the Master System version was developed before ultimately being scrapped. From what can be assumed, the game was likely very similar to the final release, aside from assumingly a lower resolution for the graphics and sound. Now, no other information is known about the game other than Kotaro Hayashida's interview on it. This is one of those ones that I do disagree with some people. So I know there are people who are really into the idea of retrofying games, or I knew a kid who downgraded his PSP so that he could do programming on it. And I'm always big on if you can make the game look better, sound better, play better, always do that. The retro charm just isn't there for me, but I know there are people who, if there is a slightly lower grade version of Phantasy Star 2, that they'd probably really love to see it. And for those people, well, hey, maybe it exists out somewhere. Alright guys, now before we get to that fifth final spicy piece, it's time to announce the giveaway. Yes, we are doing a giveaway to celebrate our upcoming 100th episode, and I'm really excited for that. And for that, I have made this custom, one-of-a-kind kit-bashed miniature, which I will show you now. Now, I call this guy Nuke Starkiller. Yes, he is a Star Wars, knockoff. He's got himself that nice green shiny beam sword. He's got a robot arm. He's got an end belt buckle, which is why I called him Nuke. So, and he's also got a blaster because this is sci-fi. A lot of essences of the things you would see in things like Krull, or there were so many Star Wars knockoffs back in the 80s, and this is what I was reminiscent with this figure, which is all made from different pieces cobbled together and repainted by me. So, if you would like to win this one-of-a-kind Mr. Sean made miniature, all you have to do in this episode is to comment 100. That's right, you have until Thursday of next week to comment 100 on this video, and then I will randomly select one person from the comments to be the winner, and that winner will be announced on next Friday's Lesser Known Lost Media Centennial episode. So, again, if you would like to win this piece, please comment 100 in the comments. And with that being said, guys, let's get to today's spicy piece. At number 5, we have Gekisatsu Uchuken, lost unreleased anime pilot based on Lolicon manga. Existence, you guessed it, unconfirmed. Probably from 1985. So, Destroy Space Fist, under the Japanese title Gekisatsu Uchuken, is a 1980s Japanese manga series created by Hurricane Ryu. It was originally serialized in an adult-oriented lolicon magazine, Lemon People, from March 1982 to February of 1988. In 1983, it was announced that Destroy Space Fist would be adapted into an animated television series. However, the television series was never fully produced. The music and story were released as an image album on vinyl in 1985, along with some stills drawn by Hirano Toshiki. But no animation has ever been released, and it is unconfirmed to have ever actually been made. So the plot, Destroy Space Fish, is a sci-fi adventure manga with additional martial arts and slapstick themes. It follows the adventures of Lian Yoon, a 9-year-old kung fu expert, oh boy, who travels through the galaxy fighting crime. Her father taught her deadly martial art techniques, and her trademark move is the Rising Galactic Dragon Pose. Yoon is assisted by Chief Kishida Hayashi, a military leader who could turn into the Heidecker from Android Kikrader. The anime would focus on Yoon's rivalry with another martial arts girl, Lan Lia, and Yoon would also have to defeat an army of space monsters and robots. Now, the manga was serialized in Lemon People, which is again a lolicon manga magazine, during the height of the lolicon boom in the anime industry. As such, the magazine's contents generally revolved around erotica involving young female characters. Author Hurricane Ryu originally created the series when he was 17 years old and in high school. Okay, but he's still making them about 9-year-olds. Yoon was originally supposed to also be 17 years old. Okay, that's not as bad. But the editors of Lemon People persuaded him to make Yoon 9 years old instead. Okay, the magazine people are the weird ones here, guys, because he was trying to just write what he knew, which was being 17, but ugh. Okay, back to the thing. Unlike much of the other manga in Lemon People, Space Fist was not primarily about fan service. Its action and parody themes made it one of the magazine's most popular series, as well as its most accessible series for mainstream audiences. Lee and Yoon would be featured on the cover of Lemon People's September 1983 issue, along with the announcement that a Space Fist anime was going into production. The magazine would continue to release promotional materials about the anime, including character designs and the names of staff members. A single episode, either a pilot or the first TV episode, was confirmed to be fully written. However, no further animation would ever be released, and it is unconfirmed to have ever been made. Fans in Japan have speculated that the series was shelved for a number of reasons. Many of the staff members were busy with other projects, such as the 1984 anime movie Super Dimensional Fortress Macross Do You Remember Love? Now that's a name. And likely did not have the resources to also work on Space Fist. It is also likely that the series was having trouble getting sponsors due to the manga's occasional lolicon themes and its association with Lemon People. Additionally, the manga used a number of licensed characters, places, and logos for satirical purposes, and these elements would have had to have been replaced in order to avoid costly copyright infringement. Without a budget, the series was never fully produced, beyond some storyboards and key frames. Certain elements of the series are said to have gone to inspire Fight Heir 1, which was released in 1985. Heir 1 creator and director Hirono Toshiki was originally the character designer for Space Fist. That same year, all existing audio elements of Destroy Space Fist's anime were released on vinyl recorded by Toshiba's EMI's sublabel Futureland. So we don't know if animation was actually made, but what is actually available here? Well, the Space Fist pilot was released as an audio drama known in Japan as an image album on December 21st, 1985. The album contains all completed music for the series. The vinyl record also comes with cel-painted character art by Hirono Toshiki. These images, along with what was published in Lemon People, are the only known glimpses into what the finished anime would have looked like. The complete Space Fist album is easily accessible online. Archivists have digitized the album, and it is accessible on YouTube in 4 parts: Side A1, A2, B1, and B2. Much of the album contains instrumental tracks with occasional dialogue recorded by the originally slated voice actors. It also includes an additional insert song, Requiem, performed by Yuki Hyodo, imitating a child's voice. Hurricane Ryu has said that he wanted this song to be performed by an actual child, as if Lee In-yoon herself was singing it. To me, guys, it sounds like this entire series was just a way for a magazine geared towards creepy people to try and give itself some legitimacy, and I think ultimately that is probably why it never actually got finished, is a lot of people were like, hey, hold up, like, you know, we're tolerant of you guys in your little magazine, but when you want to get this put on the screen, maybe not. It just gives me the ick that, you know, the original 17-year-old artist created a manga about a 17-year-old that, you know, go write what you know, and the magazine he convinced him to change her age to 9. Like, what a bunch of ick. But I don't blame him for agreeing. I mean, he wanted to get published, he wanted to make some money, but you know, I think this one might be better off not found if it exists at all, but that's just me. And that's the video, guys. Thank you so much for joining me for 99 episodes of lesser known Lost Media. If you'd like a chance to win the custom one-of-a-kind Nuke Star Killer miniature, be sure to comment 100. Also, be sure to give this video a like, be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already, and consider joining as either a channel member or Patreon patron, which you can do for as low as $1 a month. Also, check out my one-of-a-kind miniatures over on eBay and Mercari, or even head on over to DriveThruRPG to see my published Call of Cthulhu scenario page. There's actually going to be a new one coming very soon for that. And until next time, remember, links are in the description, but until next time, I'm Mr. Sean. This is Mr. Sean Productions, and I sincerely hope that you alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye.